Welcome to part two. So, right before the last leg of the journey of the Parthian court officials looking for the Lord, most likely with a large entourage, just like we have traveled and travailed looking for the Lord, trying to find the time as to when to find Him, but most importantly, learning and growing as to what He looks to find from within our hearts. Luke 21:25, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven, Uranos in Greek, shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Genesis 49:8-12, the gathering unto Shiloh. We have seen the elite trying to do this mock of gathering at Sinai, but also the gathering in Egypt. We know that the Giza pyramids are the manifestation of the Lord's bridal temple in stone, the altar and witness to the Lord on the border of Upper and Lower Egypt in the book of Isaiah. Now the original, Genesis 49, verses 8-12. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise, a type of the bride. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, until the Lord comes. And unto him shall the gathering or the obedience of the people be. Binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass's colt unto the choice vine, he washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Going to see a beautiful marker in the heavens of a gathering unto Shiloh in a bit. Amos 5:8. Seek him that maketh the 7 stars and Orion. The 7 stars is another reference to the Pleiades, just like what John shows us in the book of Revelation. And turneth the shadow of death into the morning, and maketh the day dark with night, that calleth forth the waters of the earth, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. The Lord is thy name. In this one verse, we see a reference to the Pleiades, to the Son of Man constellation, Orion. Turning of the shadow of death into the morning, we know that the shadow of death turning into the morning is also connected to Mary Magdalene seeing the resurrected Christ before dawn. And then we have a reference to the flood. So we have that connection in this one verse of the Pleiades, Orion, the transference of the shadow of death into morning, and the flood. Job 38:31 also refers to the Pleiades. When Job called out in distress to the Lord gave him a much bigger vision of who he is and who he was and will ever be in Job's life. He asked Job, can thou bind the sweet influence of the Pleiades or loose the bands of Orion? We're going to see a lot detailed about this particular verse, but in short, the binding is connected to the gathering of the sweet influence of the Pleiades, the Spirit working from within the 7 churches, the 7 spirits of God flowing outward. That is expressed in the Pleiades, the flock of doves, the 7 churches, but also a picture of the hen having gathered her chicks under her wings. And the gathering and binding is done by the Lord, but those are the cords of love. Revelation 1:12. Another reference to the Pleiades. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me. And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks, the 7 lights, the spirits of God. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle, the Lord standing in the middle of the 7 candlesticks, the representation of the 7 churches, but in the heavens, that is the Pleiades. The ingathering of the dispersed is described in Isaiah 60, the combination of darkness rising and then the Lord's beloved shining forth. Arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. For darkness shall cover the earth, and thick darkness the people. But the Lord will arise upon you, and his glory will appear over you. Nations shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn. Again, the moment of dawn where darkness transitions into light, death into life. John 1:5, the light shines in the darkness, for it determines the course of your life. John 14, verse 1 to 4. The L has dropped off. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go and prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there may ye be also. And whither I go, ye know, and the way ye know. Thomas said unto him, Lord, we know not whither thou goest, and how can we know the way? Jesus said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. If ye had known me, ye should have known my Father also, and from henceforth ye know him, and have seen him. Philip said unto him, Lord, show us the Father, and it sufficeth us. Jesus said unto him, Have I been so long time with you, and yet hast thou not known me, Philip? He that hath seen me hath seen the Father. And how sayest thou then, Show us the Father? Believest thou not that I am in the Father, and the Father in me? The words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me, or else believe me for the very works, for the very works' sake. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works I shall do, he do also, and greater works than these shall he do. That is connected in the book of Acts, Acts 2, the greater works that the disciples will do in his name. Because I go unto my Father, and whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If ye shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. So that is the promise to the overcoming believers. The book of Acts will find another fulfillment. And then on to the enemy gatherings, the demonic binding and wicked gatherings. It's a wrap. They are closing up. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We are to expose what he is doing. The entry and exit way in Bali under the guiding of a demon, Vishnu and Garuda, a demigod and a demon. A red carpet, they are mimicking the ecliptic in the heavens. The Vishnu Garuda statue. Of course, it was inundated with the heightened tensions with regard to the Ukraine war. The missile found, which was allegedly fired by Russia, at least that is what Zelensky wanted to have the world accept. So perhaps the invocation of the NATO Treaty 4 and 5, the upscaling of that war could have taken place. But as of yet, that has not happened. And apparently, it was not a Russian missile. The joint statement of NATO and the G7 leaders on the margins of the G20 summit in Bali. And we're going to see a little bit later that there is a beautiful vision given to a sister of ours, Sister Vicky, about what transpired in Egypt behind closed doors, a ritual crowning of the first beast, but also inside that the 10 kings of the to be divided 10 kingdoms. We find that in the book of Daniel. That has actually partially taken place in these meetings as well. The joint statement was a veiled peace and security statement. So we have seen both the Paris peace meetings, the city in Egypt, the name of the city is the city of peace. And then the Bali summit also bringing forth a call to peace. In addition to the stepping stones toward the financial and identification aspect, in addition to the medical connection to people's vaccine status, that was all incorporated into these events as well. NATO saying Ukrainian S-300 missile fell in Poland, blaming Russia. So the ramping up, the charging of that conflict in the Ukraine, it's like they want to force the Lord's hands to have that conflict scale up. But we know everything is going by His authority and within His perfect timing. The Kremlin's response, and then this was a serious incident of a virtual nuclear warhead flying over Kiev in the Ukraine. And I saw just now in the papers that there was another ICBM test by North Korea, which landed near Japan. So we know from the scriptures that the onset of judgment will have an impact on the US and the UK. Many will not expect that to come from North Korea, but through prophetic visions combined with what we read in the scriptures, it may very well be from that direction. So we see the heightened tension in addition to the galvanizing the closing salvo of the G20 leaders, promoting global vaccine passports, promoting like imprisonment so people can move about freely. So digital surveillance, digital marking identification requirements in order for people to move around. That is the witchcraft doublespeak of Satan. And as a dark mirror of what the Lord is doing, writing His testimony in the Word, given through the Spirit, but especially written on the blackboard of heaven, they are also writing out their plans on the walls. So the final statements by the delegation of COP27 was actually postponed, or they presented it as such. They were not able to reach that agreement, that it was a fought over result. I think it's much contrary to what is actually happening, because most of it, if not all, is pre-planned. But the writing on the wall at COP27. 33 logo with the UN laurel wreaths, just like the victory crown in the constellation Sagittarius. The big wigs, the new dawn, people being muzzled, not able to speak out or walk freely. And then the writing on the wall, people are supposed to accept and adhere the problems created in order to bring forth the solutions which will imprison them and bind them. The Vesica Pisces, entry and exit way. The new dawn they ascribe to, and their ambitions toward the next year, and then the end of the red clouds over the venue, the skies being red and lowry, a foreboding of judgment.